Elon Musk was shopping at Walmart. The whole situation seemed bizarre and almost unbelievable. But the world's richest man was grocery shopping at Walmart. Who would believe that? However, a decision made on a whim had him in Walmart, pushing a shopping cart with a grocery list in hand. Elon didn't go shopping very often. As a powerful business conglomerate, he did not have time for mundane tasks. Work was moving smoothly, every target was met, and all ongoing projects ran smoothly. There were no hitches. However, lately Elon had been feeling a creeping sense of discontentment. So, he decided to go out. He opened his fridge, saw that he needed a few food items, and decided to head out. It was raining cats and dogs in Austin, Texas. The skies were gray, and there was no hope of sunlight. The weather forecast predicted heavy showers till 6 p.m. It almost seemed as though heaven was weeping. On arriving at Walmart, Elon wore a gray hoodie as a disguise and stepped inside. It was a rainy day, so there were few customers. Many of them did not seem bothered by his appearance, so he quietly slipped into the aisles. Who would have thought grocery shopping is hard? He wondered. And what is the difference between margarine and butter? They both looked the same. By the time he had finished, he felt a bit better. The mental task was liberating. He took his items to the counter, where a brunette who seemed to be in her 20s was working the register. She seemed a bit distracted, but Elon was grateful. She could not look at his face well and half-mindedly gave him his receipt. "Thank you for shopping at Walmart. Have a nice day," she said in a monotone voice. He nodded and then walked out. He pushed his cart to his car and opened the boot. After unloading his stuff into the car, he looked up. A figure in a yellow raincoat was gathering the carts in the parking lot. Seems to be a little kid, he thought. It was common for teenagers to be cart attendants at Walmart. Hope the kid learns the value of hard work, he said. He remembered back in his days as a teenager when he would work off jobs to get some pocket money for school. His parents were able to provide him with just the basics, so whatever extra money he needed, he got by himself. He remembered when he bought his first bicycle. It had been with money saved up from allowances given to him by his parents and tutoring others in geometry. Yeah, he was good at math as a kid. He smiled. He was about to leave the parking lot when a car almost ran the person in the yellow raincoat over. Elon panicked as the figure fell. "Is he okay?" He worried and ran over. He crouched and lifted the person, but nothing prepared him for the sight before him. It was not a teenage boy as he thought. It was an elderly lady. Of all the people his mind had imagined, an elderly woman was not part of it. "Ma'am, are you okay?" he questioned. "Who on earth is the driver of that vehicle?" He fumed. He could have run her over, he thought angrily. He looked at the woman in question and pondered, what was a woman her age doing pushing carts in the rain? Nevada Taylor was still stunned. She looked at the young man holding her up and remembered his question about her state of being. "I'm all right, young man," she replied with a smile. "Are you sure?" he asked, still worried. She stood to her feet and checked. She winced as she tried to apply weight on her left leg, but quickly covered it with a smile. However, Elon was not fooled. He saw the way her face twisted in pain before she could hide it. "All right, ma'am. We need to get you to a hospital," he said, then bent down to check her foot. Sure enough, it looked swollen and painful. "There is really no need," she said, and tried to move, but then cried out in pain. "That's it, ma'am. I'm taking you to the hospital." "But there isn't," she tried to protest. "Come on," he said, and guided her to his car. Once he was sure that she was secured in the vehicle and she had her seatbelt on, he drove off to the nearest hospital. It took them about 10 minutes to reach the hospital, and then she was rushed to the accident and emergency ward. However, because of his hoodie, no one could recognize him, so he stayed out. After waiting a while, a friendly-looking nurse came by to attend to her. After asking her some questions concerning how she got hurt and where she felt pain, the nurse turned to him and asked, "Are you a family member or relative?" "No, I'm not. I was just about to leave the grocery store, and then I witnessed the whole incident, so I decided to help," he replied. Soon a doctor came to see her. After examining her, he diagnosed a sprain. "You'll have to keep weight off that leg and take it easy for a few days. Here is the prescription for a few painkillers," the doctor said. He wrote them down on paper and handed them to Elon. Before Elon could take it from his hand, the doctor stopped. "Sir, I'm sorry if this might sound rude or weird, but has anyone ever told you you look like Elon Musk?" Elon smiled, amused at the statement. If only you knew, he thought. "Yeah, I get that a lot," he responded. The doctor cleared his throat, embarrassed that he had been caught staring. Elon took the prescription from the doctor's hand and went to get the medication from the pharmacy. By the time he arrived, the doctor had discharged the old woman, and she was free to go. "Thank you, young man," she said with a smile that warmed his heart. "No problem, ma'am," he replied. "Where do you live?" he asked, determined to take her home. "Oh, I don't want to be a bother," she said with a smile. "Don't you worry about me. I will be fine." "Believe me, you are not a bother. I'm happy to take you home," Elon insisted. She smiled and said, "Oh, all right. If you really want to help, I guess there is not much I can do to stop you." "Ma'am, what's a nice lady like you doing working in the rain?" he asked, a bit concerned. She just smiled sadly. "Enough with the ma'am. My name is Nevada, but you can call me Grandma Taylor." "Well, how about you? What do people call you?" Elon paused. "Elon," he replied finally. "Well, Elon, nice to meet you. Thank you once again for your help." "You're welcome," he replied with a smile. Elon wondered what would make an elderly lady such as her to be working at Walmart in the rain. Shouldn't she be in a retirement home or playing bingo with her mates? "I don't mean to be rude, ma'am, but may I ask how old you are?" Elon inquired. She laughed and said, "I'm 85 and still alive," and then smiled. "85?" Elon asked in disbelief. "So any kids?" he asked. She looked at him with sadness and said, "Not anymore." "I'm sorry for your loss, ma'am," he said quietly. From that point onward, they drove in silence. The address she gave him led to a poor neighborhood. They drove past mutilated buildings and broken vehicles until they reached a house that looked like it had seen better days. The roof looked like it was about to fall off, and the windows needed a thorough cleaning. He woke Nevada, who had fallen asleep. "Grandma Taylor, is this the address?" he asked as he shook her. "Huh?" she said, a little disgruntled from her sleep. "Oh, yeah, this is it. Thank you for the ride. I cannot believe I fell asleep," she said, a bit embarrassed. "It's not a problem," Elon consoled. He helped her to the door, and then rang the doorbell. The door opened, and a little girl, who looked about 12 years old, opened. "Hello," Elon greeted. The child stood there with her head peeping out from behind the door. Her eyes were filled with suspicion as she asked, "Who are you?" Well, I'm..." He had not yet finished his introduction when she continued. "Grandma isn't home right now, and I'm not allowed to talk to strangers." She turned and saw her grandmother. "Grandma!" she exclaimed joyfully and ran outside, then sensed something was wrong and stopped. Her eyes went to where Elon was holding her grandmother upright, and a tone of worry crept in. "Grandma, are you all right?" she asked. "Don't worry about me, Jenny, I'm all right. I just hurt my leg at work. But this kind gentleman was there to help, so be nice to him, okay?" With that, Elon led Grandma Taylor inside. The first thing he noticed was that the house was a bit of a mess. A few children's toys were scattered over the rug, with books on the table. There was dust on the table, and to make matters worse, the roof was leaking. "Where is Jason and Luke?" Grandma Taylor asked. "Asleep," Jenny replied. "Well, that's a relief. All right, Elon, let me just make some coffee for us. How do you like yours?" Nevada asked. "Oh, there's really no need, ma'am." "Nonsense. You took me to the doctor and still drove me back home. The least I can do is get you a cup of coffee," she pressed. Elon finally gave in. "Black, with no sugar, please," replied Elon. Nevada smiled. She nodded and then wobbled to the kitchen area to make some. Elon's eyes roamed the run-down apartment. The rug looked like it had once been another color, but was now gray from years of use. He was sitting on an old brown sofa which creaked whenever he moved. He did not want to break the grandma's furniture, so he stayed still. Meanwhile, Jenny looked at the stranger in their living room with open curiosity. How she stared made Elon uncomfortable, so he started a conversation. "So, Jenny, what is your full name?" She looked at him briefly, debating whether to answer, and then said, "Jennifer." "Jennifer, nice. So, how is school?" "It's all right, I guess." He looked around again. He noticed the books around and saw she was doing homework. "Need some help?" he asked, trying to appear as harmless as possible. She looked at him and after a beat sighed. "Sure," she said nonchalantly. The girl did not trust him, but he hoped they could work on that. She just happened to be doing her maths homework. Elon showed her the basics and explained where she didn't understand. After a while, they were done. Helping her with algebra seemed to have made her loosen up to him a bit. "Thank you," she said with a smile as soon as they were done. "You're welcome," he replied, smiling back. He looked up to see Grandma Taylor smiling at them. She looked tired, Coffee was ready. She poured it out into a cup and then passed it to Elon. Elon took a sip. It wasn't what he was used to, but he did not fuss about it. They drank their coffee in silence. He noticed a plane model above the fireplace and wondered the story behind it. Nevada observed the man sitting across from her. After living a long life and witnessing the joys and pains of life, she felt she had a good read on people. The man sitting across from her did not ring any warning bells. Instead, he seemed a little lost, she thought. She followed his gaze to the airplane model and smiled. My husband gave that to me on our 20th anniversary. I have always wanted to go to Italy, so he bought it as a promise that we would fly to Italy one day for another honeymoon. He lost his life in a fire accident a couple of years ago, she said. Elon looked at her. She did not say it in a sad tone, but in a way that said she had accepted it, but had not moved on. Some memories were too painful to recall. You must have loved him a lot, Elon observed. We did not have much money, but we were happy. We tried for years to have a baby, you know. My Benny, a charmer, that's what he was. He never missed an anniversary till the year he passed. Sometimes I still think I can hear him in the garage, tinkering away with his old bike. Ever the chivalrous one, my Benny. He lost his life in a fire accident while trying to save a pregnant woman. Is that his picture? Elon asked, pointing to a picture of a man with blonde hair and warm brown eyes. Nevada took it up and smiled. Yes, Jenny reminds me so much of him. He was a wonderful person and didn't like letting me worry. She kept the frame back. What about Jenny's parents? Elon asked. They lost their lives in a car crash, Nevada replied. Elon felt a pang of sorrow for the children who had lost their parents at so young an age. My son Thomas and his wife were taking the kids to SeaWorld San Antonio when they got hit by a drunk driver. Their mother Sarah and Thomas didn't make it, so now it's just me and the kids. Is that why you work at Walmart? Yeah, there are bills to pay and the kids to care for. They are all the family I have, and I am the same family they've got. Don't you worry about me, mister. I will sleep it off and be good as new in the morning. Don't you wish your life was simpler? Elon asked. I do, but life is not about getting what you want. It is about learning how to deal with the cards you have been dealt with. I have had some unfortunate experiences in life, but that does not mean I will give up. I am not afraid to work to take care of my grandchildren. Those kids are worth all the struggle that I go through, she said in a fiercely protective tone. Just then, a little boy of around 5 ran into the room and hugged Nevada's knees. Nevada patted him and said, Jason, my boy, are you up? He nodded and then smiled at her. Granny, I drew a cat today. You did, didn't you? What a smart boy you are, she praised. For that you get a cookie, and then she led him into the kitchen to get him a cookie. Elon watched the interaction and smiled. His heart went out to Nevada, an 85-year-old woman who had lost a lot and was now working to provide for her grandchildren. He respected her strength and tenacity. By the time he had finished his coffee, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. Well, it seems I have stayed out late, Elon said and stood up. Thank you again for helping me today, Nevada replied. Any time, ma'am. I mean Nevada. You best go home, dear, and drive safely. The roads are slippery now, she cautioned. The kids said their goodbyes and Elon drove back to Tesla's headquarters. On his way back, he kept replaying his conversation with Nevada Taylor, and his respect for her grew. Such a strong woman, he thought. He wondered what he could do to help her. She was carrying so much alone and at such a time when she should be taken care of. By the time he reached headquarters, it was already past 8 p.m. Elon had to be careful, as Nevada advised. The road was truly slippery, and he had to drive slowly. After getting back to headquarters, he brought his stuff down, stocked the fridge, and turned on his system to work. After trying to concentrate for a while, he gave up and decided to get to bed early. As he lay on the bed, his mind wandered to Nevada again. What could he do to make sure she was comfortable? He did not know why, but for some reason, he seemed bothered about Nevada's condition. He had a lot of money, so why not use it to make someone's life better? By the time he woke up the next morning, an idea had already formed in his mind. He got up early to prepare for his day and was just about to leave the apartment when a phone call from a strange number had him rushing out the door. It was Jenny. Yesterday, before he left, he gave his card to Nevada. She took it without looking at it. When she went to wake her grandmother, she noticed that she was running a high temperature. She panicked and called 911, but it seemed they were taking too long. She saw the card on the table and then called Elon too. For a moment, Elon was so touched that she thought to call him. He rushed out the door while on the phone. "You did good, Jenny. Don't worry, I'm almost there." When he arrived at the house, an ambulance was already there. Nevada was strapped to a stretcher and was being carried into the ambulance. As soon as Jenny saw him, she ran to his side. Elon hugged the little girl. She seemed so spooked. "Is my grandma going to make it?" she asked in a small voice. "Of course she will. She's one of the strongest people I know, and I know many people." Jenny just nodded. A paramedic was checking up on the boys, Jason and Luke. Turned out the boys were twins. When she was done, she turned and looked at Elon, startled. Who are you?" she asked bluntly. Elon smiled. "I'm Elon Musk, and I'm here to assist my friend in any way I can." "You mean you are the Elon Musk of Tesla?" she asked again in disbelief. "Elon Musk of Tesla, huh?" he said with a smirk as he offered his hand for a handshake. She blushed in embarrassment. "I mean, it's an honor to meet you, sir," she said as she shook his hand. "Is Nevada going to be okay?" he asked. "Yes, sir. Her vitals are stable, but we need to get to the hospital to confirm." "All right." Elon followed behind in his car and took the kids. After a thorough checkup, the doctor confirmed she had a fever. Must be from all the working in the rain, Elon thought sadly. Then his decision was made. He would help Nevada no matter what it took. After the next 2 days, Nevada was discharged with a warning from the doctor to take it easy. She felt so disheartened. All she wanted to do was work hard and care for her grandkids in whatever way she could. Her heart hurt. Was she really that frail? Nevada felt defeated. After the incident, her sister's daughter, Isabella, had come over to stay with the kids for the time being. Isabella was 16 years old, had just graduated from high school, and was on her summer break. She was here on summer break, but as soon as Nevada was better, she would return home to start college. Her hospital door opened and Isabella and the kids stepped in. They hugged, and Jenny said excitedly, "Grandma, guess who's here?" Nevada looked up and smiled. "Hello, Nevada," Elon said in a kind voice. "Well, young man, it seems we keep meeting under unpleasant circumstances," she said jokingly. "You look well, Nevada, not a day over 85, he joked back. Nevada laughed. "Grandma, we have a surprise for you," said Jason, as he bounced up and down excitedly. After the doctor discharged her, they all got into Elon Musk's car. Nevada sighed. The children's chatter faded into the background as her mind wandered. Soon, she dozed off. After a while, she felt a hand tugging on her blouse. "Grandma, Grandma," Jenny called. Nevada woke up. "Are we here?" she asked, and then looked around. Then she frowned. "Where are we?" she asked. "Grandma, it's our new home," and then Jenny came out of the car and ran inside. It took a while for what Jenny said to sink in. "New home?" She looked at the house. It was a beautiful 2-story house with a white picket fence in a posh neighborhood. Nevada's mouth opened in shock. "How in the world did this become mine?" she asked in disbelief. "Mr. Elon got us a new house," shouted Jenny as she ran upstairs. "And a new car," shouted Luke, pointing to a Tesla car of the latest model. Elon stood before Nevada, who had tears in her eyes. "Nevada, you have been through a lot in this life, and I think sometimes good people deserve to have it easy once in a while. So, will you let me help you, Nevada?" Tears dropped from her eyes. "So, miracles exist," she thought. She smiled through her tears and asked, "Who are you?" He said, "Just a man trying to help a woman who deserves it. There's a trust fund with $5 million for the kids, so you don't have to worry about their finances ever again. A $500 stipend will be sent to your account every week." 500, she laughed, "and they say miracles don't exist." Together with her grandkids, as they admired this unexpected blessing, they looked toward a brighter future. What are your thoughts about how Elon Musk changed Nevada's life? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.